Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. We're getting started. Welcome all to Livable Neighborhood's March monthly meeting. Thanks for sharing your morning with me. I love to say that. And yeah, I have a couple of announcements, but before I get into mine, I wanted to remind you all that if you have a cell phone that's not silenced or off, if you could go ahead and silence it or cut it off. There are microphones above you, so they'll be able to catch whatever you say, even if you're all the way in the back. That was no, I'm not asking anybody specifically, but I would know what you said. Okay, I think that's my only announcement. As far as welcome. And I do have a couple of things on the Livable Neighborhood side as far as updates. So the first one is that we're halfway through our Civic Connect sessions for Livable Neighborhoods. If you don't know what those are, they're dives into UD departments. So we've had 4 so far. Presenters come to those meetings. Again, we have 2 more. One will be April 8th, and our 2 presenters on April 8th will be BPU and our Area Agency on Aging. And then the last one will be April 22nd. So if you want to hear from the Treasury Department, the Mayor's Office and the Board of Commissioners come out, and those will be our presenters on the 22nd. And those are here at the Neighborhood Resource Center from 6 p.m. to 7:30. Registration is closed, so we're locked in at 25 mils, but feel free to come and not eat and just learn. And that information is also on the UG calendar. If I spoke too fast or you just need a reminder, you can go check there. My next announcement is that we got some feedback in October from our neighborhood leaders when we canceled the big monthly meeting and had it with just the neighborhood groups. And one of the feedback that they gave us was that they really enjoyed the district cleanups that used to happen in the laid back past before I was here. So we're gonna resume those this year. Instead by district, they'll be by like neighborhood region. So that'll be on April 26th. So that's the Saturday of Earth Day, Saturday that weekend. Excuse me. Yeah. And that'll be in partnership with many of our NVRs. More details to come in mid-April, but if you want to save the date for now, that is April 26th, the Saturday after Earth Day. And so far we have Argentine Betterment Corporation, our NVR in Armourdale, our NVR in downtown, our Business Association, and our NVR in Rosedale will be our participating, but there may be some more by the time we get closer to April. And then speaking of NVRs, Rosedale Development Association has their Green Team Workday on Saturday, March 29th. If you would like to volunteer with RDA or you live in the Rosedale area and just want to go support, they'll be having that on Saturday. And that's at Fisher Park, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And there are flyers on the table for those of you there. And then last update, the NRC lobby here will be closed on April 27th, starting at 11:30 for software updates. So if you have business to attend to, you won't be able to do it then here at NRC. And following this meeting, immediately following the meeting, we'll have hands-only CPR training that the Red Cross will be facilitating. So if you are interested in doing that, please stay after this meeting has wrapped up. That's all I have. So we'll get into our presentation. We have 2. Our first presentation will be from the Women's Scholarship Foundation with Angela Turner. So I'll ask her to pull on up, and I know that's the support here too, and I'll pull up your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Angela Turner. Today I am representing the Women's Scholarship Foundation serving Greater Kansas City, and I'm here with 2 board members.
Greetings, I'm Denise Dias, president currently of the Women's Scholarship Foundation.
Good morning. My name is Laura Swan, and I am on the board of the Women's Scholarship Foundation.
So The Women's Scholarship Foundation is a small local nonprofit that is very rich in history. We're going to do a quick history lesson this morning to know where we've been and where we're going. So in 1920, women won the right to vote. And women in KCK decided it was time for them to get involved and have a seat at the table. So they began meeting. And in 1938, the KCK Women's Chamber became an official organization. And their focus was to have women a part of things that were going on in the community, as well as developing job skills. So as a result of women being involved in this organization throughout the years, they became leaders of organizations. They became involved in local politics, as well as community activists. And as the years went on, they began supporting women in their educational goals. So in 1985, the KCK Women's Chamber launched a scholarship program. At that time, it was primarily focused on women who attended KCKCC and Donley College, with a good emphasis on women looking for nursing degrees or pursuing nursing degrees. And in 2015, with the leadership of Pat Bruni, it was decided that a foundation needed to be established. So a 501c3 was established to raise funds and manage the scholarship program that had been started by the Women's Chamber. In 2020, the Women's Chamber actually dissolved, but the KCK Chamber developed a Women's Chamber network that bridged the gap to continue to have women have a seat at the table. The foundation continued to provide scholarships and raise funds and began to expand their reach to women in the city metropolitan area. So today we continue to empower women. The foundation is a standalone organization ran by a small board of volunteers. In 2024, because there was always some confusion with the word chamber, we decided to rebrand and became the Women's Scholarship Foundation serving Greater Kansas City. Our focus and vision is still the same: to provide scholarships that support non-traditional women students in achieving their education goals, focused on women 24 years of age or older living in the Kansas City metropolitan area who are returning to school or beginning school for the first time later in life to reach their educational goals.
Some of our scholarship recipients, since 2015, we've awarded over $65,000. Now, in the early years, those scholarships were just pretty small, a few $100. So we've really helped a lot of people to help them to reach their educational goals. In 2024, of course, last year, we awarded $15,000 in scholarships to 7 different women. And these are the women last year that received scholarships. Sarah, of course, spoke about challenges of finding money, navigating financial aid, and trying to find scholarships. It's not easy, especially if you've been out of school a while and you're trying to go back and finish while juggling family and work and everything else. And then another one, Alexis B., she was a recipient back in 2016. She credits the foundation for helping her to achieve her educational goals. So not only does this group provide that scholarship piece, but you'll find a lot of mentorship and encouragement from our board as well to help those women reach their goals.
I also just want to say I'm one of the more recent members to the board, but I was excited to find, even looking at pictures now, I'm like, oh, I know her. She's a nurse now, or she teaches at Banneker Elementary, and she's working with us to support other students who need that extra lift. So the scholarship specifically supports women who are over 24. So looking to go back to school for something. Maybe they're becoming a teacher or changing their career. Maybe they weren't able to go to school right when they graduated high school. So they're able to come back and we can support them in that way. So it's a very niche group that needs that extra lift. And it's often women who do have children who are maybe raising them on their own and can use your support so that they can reach their goals and help uplift their families as well. So how can you get involved? So your organizations can become a sponsor of a scholarship, and we have 4 different levels for that, and they start at only $100. And every level of sponsorship comes with tickets to our luncheon to celebrate our scholarship recipients with us. So just $100 donation can allow you to meet these amazing women and cheer them on at that scholarship luncheon. You can also share our scholarship application info. Are there women in your life who deserve these funds, who are trying to go back to school, who are trying to uplift themselves and their families and their community? Share this info with them. Our application deadline is April 1st, which is coming. Ready or not, here it comes. So please share that scholarship info, and we'll be sending around some flyers and things like that where you can see that link. You can also make a donation, $5, $5,000, whatever you have in your pocket. I'll take it. We'll put it to good use. We have events. So we have that scholarship luncheon coming up, and ticket sales for that luncheon go directly to funding the scholarship. You can also purchase a t-shirt, which Miss Angela is displaying, about how women empower women. That's our mission, is that women empowering women. Like she said, we're an all volunteer board, and this is what we're here for, to uplift women, specifically in Kansas City. So grab a t-shirt. I think there's hats now.
There's hats and cups as well. So
All kinds of
all
things.
kinds of things.
So you can join us in this work.
And so like Laura said, our scholarship application for this year does close on April 1st. We're awarding up to $15,000 in scholarships. So please encourage folks to apply. There is still time. The link is there. The QR code will take you directly to our website where you can sign up for our newsletter. You can get to the application, you can purchase merchandise, you can make a donation, and it's all there. So the scholarships are for non-traditional women students aged 24 years of older, attending accredited college or institution. They live in the Kansas City metropolitan area, and then those are the requirements for the application online. Would you please join us in empowering women in our community? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The transcripts
Yes.
is going to be a problem for anybody receiving this information for the first time today
Okay.
and having an application turned in by next Tuesday. So is there any?
We will work with them. We have before. We've had students who have applied and who had transcripts from other countries. So as long as we have something
Okay.
that we can see, even if it's a screenshot or a PDF.
There you
or
go.
something
Thank you
like
very
that. Yes,
much.
we're willing to work with people. Yeah. And even if you can't get all of those things in, submit the application, because you never know. Yeah, because we have about 8 to 10 women who are on our scholarship committee who review all of the applications. Multiple people do. And, we really look at their story and their need.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
Do you offer any volunteer opportunities for people to just help out the organization?
Absolutely. If you want something to do, I have it. Because really everything is absolutely volunteer. We do not have paid staff. So we are doing social media. We are making our own flyers. We're printing our own flyers. We're sending out newsletters. Yes.
Gotcha.
So we would love to have more events, but we have such a small group. Organizing and pulling off an event is a lot of work for 7 of us. So if you would like to help with that, we will absolutely take that.
The contact information is on the website, and it'll go right to Angela's email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And if you want to just write me a check or hand me cash now. And Nina, can you share, we forgot, so the QR code, I know everybody doesn't love QR codes. Our website is wsfkc.org. Could you put that in the chat? if possible? That is the link to the application. So that will take you directly to the application. The QR code will take you to our website. And if you're not a big QR code person, our website is wsfkc.org.
And if you're subscribed to the Livable Neighborhoods e-newsletter, there's a little button that you can click on. It gives you right to the application.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Give you a round of applause. Thank you. Alrighty. And then our second presenter today, we have an update from the bi-state sustainable reinvestment corridor. So Laura, if you would like to turn off any other supporting folks, and I will.
Hi, good morning.
The presentation. You want to like through it?
I'll let you click through it. Hi, I'm happy to be here this morning. I'm Laura Shaw. I am part of the project team for the Bi-State Sustainable Reinvestment Corridor. I was here a couple of months ago to introduce this project to this group. How many of y'all were here? Okay, so there's a fair amount of you that know about this project already. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the project, but I'm not gonna go into great detail if some of you already know about it. But the most important thing that I want to do today is to gather feedback from you about this project. So there is a handout coming around. I may not have enough because this is a nice big crowd this morning. If you don't get one, I'm gonna give Nina a link to send out. I will tell you that when you see the link, it's gonna overwhelm you because it's a lot of information, but skip the stuff that you don't want to read and just go to the sections that you want to read. And then you can give us your feedback that way. Okay, so let's go first slide here. All right, so this project is a Mid-America Regional Council led project that is funded with federal money that was secured by Congressman Cleaver on the Missouri side and Congresswoman Davids on the Kansas side to study the 24-mile corridor between Independence on the east and the Legends on the west. Really, it's about figuring out how we can improve transportation and transit between those two points. I want to stop here and say one thing really quick. Gunnar Hand gave up his speaking. He was supposed to be here today to speak, but he allowed me to come in his place. So I just want to thank Gunnar. If you see him, thank him for letting me be here. He wanted to make sure y'all had an opportunity to give feedback on the project. So that's why I'm here. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to stay on this for just a minute. The goal of this project is to connect the three downtown areas, the activity centers, and the economic development opportunities across our region. It's to make transportation more reliable, more connected, and more accessible. And it's to prioritize the types of development that might go along with that kind of improvement in our community. Okay, you can switch to the next slide. I am going to talk about some of the community characteristics this project team has been studying to figure out how we're going to improve this transportation corridor. So I'm just going to fly through this. Stop me at any time if you have questions. A lot of this is kind of like, well, yeah, that makes sense stuff, but this is the level of detail that the project team has been going into to try to study this. One thing they're looking at is where people live. So the density of residential of where people live in this corridor is in the downtown areas. Kansas City, Kansas City, Missouri have the highest population densities at 7,000 people per square mile, making these areas ideal for improved frequent transit services. The other side of that coin is that the lower densities are in the outlying areas in the western and eastern parts of the corridor, less than 1,000 people per square mile, and that makes transit in those areas more challenging. So part of the goal of this project is integrating land use and transit planning to connect the density areas, high density areas with the low density areas. So you can see here on this map, the dark blue shows where the density, the high density residential is, and then, you know, it spreads out the lighter you go across the border. Okay, we're also looking at, next slide, please, where people work. Similarly, the highest concentration of jobs is in the downtown areas. There's about 109,000 jobs within downtown Kansas City, Missouri. There's a higher concentration of industrial areas along the rivers. Retail clusters like the Legends employ many service sector workers but lack nearby housing and access to transit. It can lead to long commutes. Right now, if you tried to commute from Independence to the Legends on transit, it would take you about 2.5 hours. And that's under current conditions. And we're going to get to the elephant in the room here in a second, which is what's potentially coming from the ATA. We'll talk about that a little more. Okay, next slide. One of the considerations in figuring out how to develop a transit corridor in this area is the physical barriers that already exist. Things like freeways, railroads, steep slopes. And pedestrian access in a lot of those areas. So those are considerations. There's incomplete pedestrian infrastructure, inconsistent sidewalk coverage, even in some of the urban areas. That complicates mobility and transit connectivity. And there's a need for infrastructure improvements all across the corridor. And we'll move to the next slide. Okay, so everyone has probably heard about the cuts that the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority has been contemplating as of as recently as this week. It sounds like some of the funding that they may have to cut has been restored, but they're still contemplating significant cuts to both services and routes and their employment base. So it's a little hard to come in here and talk about plans for new transit across this big corridor when the other side of that coin is sort of a dire situation with our existing transit network. One of the things about this project is it is inspiring conversations about a regional type of funding system. Right now, a lot of funding for the Kansas City ATA comes from Kansas City, Missouri. A lot of the outlying municipalities have pulled out of that system because of funding issues of their own. So want everyone to know that we are holding that and we know that's happening at the same time we're doing this. It's a conversation that goes together, and it studies like this can help bring those conversations together, bring the people that need to be in the room together, so that we can figure out how, as a metropolitan area, not just as individual municipalities, we can work together to solve our regional problems. This shows you where the existing transit services are. Here on this side, this is Independence. Independence has completely pulled all of its routes. So right now in Independence, the IRIS system, which is an on-demand system, is the only public transit they have in that area. Go ahead and go to the next slide. This one shows you where the density of services are. There's, routes like the 101 on State Avenue and Independence Avenue, which is Route 24, are high frequency, high ridership corridors, serving the urban core and connecting to employment centers. The MAX system enhances regional connectivity, but again, the suburban and low density areas experience limited service. So all of this has been studied for this project, and what has happened is the project team, Mid-America Regional Council, and all of the project partners, which include representatives from the Unified Government, KCK, Kansas City, Missouri, Jackson County, Independence, and Sugar Creek, have all come together and said, all right, here's what we think is important for our communities. And the project team has taken all of this data and detail that we've been talking about. It's taken the input from the project partners, and it's taken input from the community that we gathered last fall, and they have come up with 2 proposed route alternatives. So go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is maybe a little bit hard to see, but this is also on your map, kind of tiny, but it gives you an idea. They are suggesting these 2 proposed routes. They have divided the corridor into 5 segments because it's so long, starting on the west. So we've got segment 1 starts there at the Legends. Segment 2 goes through downtown KCK. Segment 3 goes through downtown KC, Missouri. Segment 4 is the historic northeast area, and then segment 5 is Independence, Sugar Creek. They're proposing 2 route alternatives and different modes of transportation for each of those alternatives. we are going to talk in detail about segments 1 and 2 because I think those will be the ones you're most interested in. But we're also going to talk about the different kinds of modes that are being considered. So trying to make this frequent and reliable. And so we're looking at more than just buses. We're looking at 3 different alternatives here. BRT Light. So BRT stands for Bus Rapid Transit. BRT Light operates similar to a MAX system, if you're familiar with the MAX buses. It's frequency of 10 to 30 minutes, higher capacity than a typical local bus service, and more cost efficient because you don't have to put major infrastructure changes when you add in BRT Light lines. Another mode they're looking at is True Bus Rapid Transit. These tend to operate in dedicated transit lane with level boarding, signal priority. They're fast and reliable service with minimal delays, frequency of 10 minutes or less during peak hours, higher passenger volumes. And the dedicated right-of-way provides a sense of permanence and supports higher levels of transit-oriented development, which is the kind of development that it makes sense to go in where you have high density transit. Streetcar is being considered, but only for segment 3, which we connect to the existing north-south streetcar line. Everybody knows what the streetcar is, so we won't go into detail on that. Okay, next slide shows the segment 1 west. Segment 1 is even divided into 2, west and east, because of the length of it. And there are some larger maps over there on the wall. So at the end here, if you want to look at those in more detail, again, I think those are on your handout, but it just sometimes it's easier to just look at the bigger ones. So I'm going to tell you about segment 1, both east and west. In this area, it's primarily single-family residential properties. There are pockets of high-density commercial development to the west. There's a suburban strip center style retail and commercial establishments along Parallel Parkway. Commercial development is concentrated at the intersections. Let's see. Walkability and micromobility can be limited due to missing or incomplete sidewalk or pedestrian infrastructure, topographical challenges, the barriers we talked about earlier, that makes bicycle and pedestrian traffic a little challenging. Segment 1B does have a high frequency of fatalities and pedestrian accidents. I know that KCK is working on that with the Vision Zero project right now. So safety is a consideration in these deliberations. And then segment 1C follows State Avenue. It benefits from an established bike route. There's a more complete sidewalk network. It currently serves by the KCHA 101 bus route. And yes, so an additional segment was considered down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. Let's switch to the next. Yeah, so this is one, the east. Can't see the additional one that was considered. It was removed because it's low density and they did not think it was viable. So let's go to segment 2 now. So segment 2, this presents options to link transit to the Quindaro neighborhood. It follows the 101 route through downtown Kansas City, Kansas, which is the highest level of service and ridership in Wyandotte County. And yes, so this 2C was considered but removed because there's no viable way to cross the river. So I'm going to stop here and take any questions about where we are, what I've just run through very quickly with a lot of detail and complexity. Yes, sir.
Mentioned that right now from Independence to the Legends, 2.5 hours. Would any of these alleviate that time frame?
That's the goal. Yes, that is absolutely the goal. The goal is we could snap our fingers or wave a magic wand and have, decisions made on these routes that are the most efficient and effective and necessary for the neighborhoods. We would want it to be more like a 40-minute trek across the corridor. I'm making that number off the top of my head, but you can get what I said. Anybody else? Yes.
I was just curious, there's a lot of industrial in some of those areas, and so is there a look at possibly taking some of those areas and making them more livable? Or there's I was looking at like 123 acre area near Turner Diagonal that they're talking about making into industrial, and I asked urban planning, that seems like it would be better for living, for building some affordable housing if you're doing this kind of project. So my question is around that.
Yes, so housing is absolutely a consideration in this study. The project team, as I said, has done a great deal of research all across the corridor and looked at where existing housing is and which areas would be prime for additional housing. There is an existing conditions study on the MARC website that shows all of that. So if you go to marc.org/by state, you can find links to the existing conditions report, and that will show you where they are looking at affordable housing, market rate housing. You know, they have definitely taken those kinds of things into consideration in this. And again, that's the feedback that we want from you all. You know, where along the corridor are areas that you think would be prime to put in development, housing, mobility hubs, et cetera. So I think you can share some of that feedback on this form. Yes.
Question online, or did you see that?
Oh.
Oh, no, okay. It was asking, are the blue line small connector transit options?
I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately.
It's Miss Linda online. Delivered.
Is that the during?
Yes.
The ACA?
One that runs down wood.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know. I can find out.
Okay, and then there's one last question in the chat, from Jennifer. It says, will it be a single line from the Legends to Independence, or will a person have to also do different transfers?
The goal is for there to be a single
Okay.
line. Yes, that is the goal. Yes, ma'am.
One of the and I'm assuming that it's not included in here because it's not part of the quarter, but the KU Med Center. There's a lot of traffic down to that.
Yes, yes. I actually have met with the KU Med folks and talked about their needs and their, they have parking issues.
Yes.
All kinds of, yes, I've spoken to them. Not connected to this study, but there has been, there have been discussions and studies of expanding a streetcar line to go east-west. And that would, the terminus, west terminus would be there at the KU Med Center.
But that doesn't help folks from
No,
9th and Washington.
correct. Yes. So I don't have a good answer to your question for that.
And the other thing is the free issue, which you probably can't comment on either, but
No, I mean, I'm not. We do a lot of work with the ATA and they are definitely involved in this project, but they are considering all their options right now, trying to minimize catastrophe.
You talked about, there being like inadequate infrastructure for sidewalks. Is that included in the budget?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are looking?
It's included in the study.
Okay.
And I will say that we are in phase 1 of 3 phases right now. So we're not going to be putting shovels in the ground next week on any of these projects. There's a lot of work left to do. In fact, the next steps in this project involve the project team, the technical people, taking all of this technical detail that they've already pulled together and doing some sort of analytic scoring, which I don't understand because I'm not a technical person. But they're going to take all these routes, all these segments, and they're going to score what they think the technical stuff says is the most practical route. Then they're going to take feedback from you about your communities, because what the technical data says might not be what is most important for the communities. They're going to weigh those two things. So that is why it's really important today for y'all to give me as much feedback as you can, because we don't want to come out and say, well, the data says this, and for y'all to say, well, that's ridiculous because nobody ever goes there, or it doesn't make sense for our community. We want your communities to have input into this. So I'm going to take all of your feedback today. We're going to send a link to the folks who are online, and anyone who wants to fill out the online form. Again, I will tell you, you're going to look at it and you're going to, I'm never going to get through all this. It's divided into segments, so you can skip the ones that you don't want to comment on. You can skip the sections, just keep going until you find where you can give your input, and we want it all. Let's see. So after we do the comparison of the technical stuff and the community feedback, the project team is going to get together again with all the community partners, and eventually they're going to come out with a preferred alignment recommendation. That is going to come out probably in the summer. We'll be coming back out to you when we have that. So you can again look at it and say, well, this is what you're proposing, but this doesn't make sense for our community, or this is great, we love it, put shovels in the ground, let's go now. That'll come in the summer. Yes, sir.
Where else are you gathering feedback such as this meeting today?
I would love to go out to any groups that you're aware of and present this to them and gather feedback. We're meeting with neighborhood groups all across the corridor. I will say that I need more KCK folks. So I want your voices. I want your groups. I want to, even if you want me to do an online virtual meeting, if you want me to come out, any of it, let me know. My email address is not on here anywhere, but it is LARA at Parson, PARSON, shoot me an email and we will connect and get something scheduled. Yes, ma'am.
So when you're talking about infrastructure, are you obviously talking not just the infrastructure around the transit area, but I'm just thinking that there are people in these sort of lower density areas that don't have cars that have to get to the line. So you're thinking about, sidewalks and bike trails and,
Yes, all of that is part of this. Yep. Because it doesn't make sense to put in a line that nobody can get to if you don't. They're looking at walkability. They call it a last mile something, so that you have less distance to go to get where you're trying to get to if you don't have a car.
Yes, good question. Of course. Sorry, my first one is, are you looking for feedback from neighborhood groups outside of this area?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, and then my second question is, what is the deadline to provide feedback before your summer recommendations?
So we will be taking feedback probably for the next month or 6 weeks. So what are we at now? We are at the end of April, I would say, or first week of May. Yeah. Again, if you want to look at the bigger maps, they're over there on the wall. I also didn't get it last time. I've got some bags and some stickers about our project. So please feel free to take a little swag on with you. Yes.
So have you found it out actually reaching further into communities and like going to churches or libraries to actually
Yes.
get feedback from community?
Yes.
Not just the organized groups that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the community needs to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sure. And when you get that link that Nina's going to send out, feel free to share it with anybody that you think might want to weigh in. Yes. It's, I will say it's a big complex project, and it's a little challenging to explain and to, get your arms around. So it's, going and trying to do like a one-on-one with people is a little bit hard. We have done a bunch of pop-ups in, at events.
Well, you don't necessarily have to do a one-on-one. You can organize something like this with churches and with libraries. You can reserve a room within the library and have the community come into that room, and you can present just like this. It doesn't have to be a one-on-one.
Yes, we are absolutely willing to do that. And we have done that with various groups across the corridor. So again, shoot me any ideas that you have. I'd be happy to connect with them. And say, well, yes, ma'am.
Do you have another map that is in more detail that can give side streets and numbers?
The ones over here on the wall are a little bit more easier to see. And if you, the ones that we have online are a little bit easier to see, so we'll send you the link. But yeah, take a look at those ones on the wall. One other thing I want to say is, I've taken up too much time again, because Nina's looking over there. Fuck. It's because everybody asks good questions. We are trying to give this corridor a name that reflects the community, that is not a tongue twister to say. So some of those questions on the front of your handout are our data and feedback gathering to try to come up with a different brand and name for this corridor. So think about that too as you're filling these out. So I'll be here, and please leave your flyers with me before you leave. I'm happy to answer any more questions at the end. Yes.
Love your feedback form, by the way.
Thank you.
Good work. Is this available online as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Okay, great. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll be back to see you again.
So those are our presenters for today. Thank you to Laura. I'll send out all the information in a follow-up email about those two presenters. And before we slide into our department updates, I wanted to say thank you to the restaurant for bringing goodies for us this morning. I forgot to do that at the beginning, so I just want to say thanks. And with that, our first our first update comes from the KCK School District.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of Superintendent Anna Stubblefield, I greet you today. I'm riding solo today. Our Executive Director, Edwin Birch, and Marco Johnson are involved in other events, but I wanted to make sure that we were able to share with you a push that we have here at USD 500 for kindergarten registration. I just put a link on the message there for the webpage that can explain all of this, the process and different events that are happening for you to take advantage. Please get the word around in your communities, your neighborhood associations. The kindergarten registration event is on Wednesday, April 16th of this year, from 9 to 7 p.m., 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's a full day of availability for you to come in, swing by, and have our Welcome Center team guide you through the enrollment process, answer any questions you might have, connect you with other departments in the district. And this, again, I'll emphasize, this is a big push to get kindergarten students enrolled in the 2025-2026 school year. So take a look at the link. While you're there, take a look at our newsroom, where you'll see a lot of stories about all the wonderful things happening in the community. My part of the work here at the district is doing government liaison work, and that's been a busy season. And so I thank all of the rest of you who partner with the school district in advocating for public education. It's been a rather fast session, and it's coming to an end. And so there are some pluses and minuses in terms of legislation and policies that have been created for the next year. But I wanted to especially thank our Wyandotte legislative delegation that are valiant service folk for our communities who are standing up for not just public education, but all sorts of services and issues of justice and access that we continue to have to advocate for in KCK, Wyandotte, UG, this whole community and beyond. So I wanted to extend that gratitude towards all those who are on the front lines, sitting in the Senate and House chambers. When you get a chance, please thank them as well. So that is it for us today. Thank you very much. Any questions, let me know.
Any questions? Thank you, Francisco. Next up, we have Turner USD 202.
Hi, I'm Lauren Alio. I'm with the Turner School District. I just have a couple things today. So we are entering the fourth quarter of the school year, which is hard to believe. It's coming up fast. And we are thinking about summer. And so we do a summer programming newsletter that we send out to all of our families, usually kind of like beginning of May. So if you're an organization that has like summer youth camps or summer programming that our families might be interested, you can send me the information. I will need a graphic to include in our digital newsletter. So anyone that has anything like that, you can send that my way. And then we do have our Turner High School Career Fair on April 23rd. We were supposed to do it in February and had to reschedule because of all the weather we had that month. And so if you're a local Wyandotte County business that is interested in participating in our career fair, we'll have sophomores, juniors, and seniors, about 800 students total coming through that morning. So if you are interested in participating, please just send me an email. I'll put my contact information in the chat and I can get you more details about that. That's all I have for today.
Thank you, Lauren. KCK Fire Department.
I think Kelly was having issues logging on, but I have her update when.
Here we are. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
you got it? Good, okay.
We can.
Okay. So from the fire department, just some department statistics for 2025 so far. We have 7,874 calls so far, 3,760 EMS calls so far, 49 fires, 93 residential automatic alarms, and 470 business alarms. And I think those are related to the weather mostly. So our safety tip of the month is severe weather and lightning. And so we want people to be aware of severe weather stuff. I don't want to rain on the parade of emergency management, but if you are outside and you can hear thunder, you are within striking distance of lightning. Seek shelter inside of a home, a large building, or a hard-topped vehicle right away. Do not go under trees for shelter. There's no place outside that's safe during a thunderstorm. And then you should wait at least 30 minutes after hearing the last clap of thunder before leaving your shelter. Stay away from windows and doors and stay off of porches. As exciting as it is to watch a thunderstorm roll in, I live on acreage and our weather comes from the west and you can really see it come in, and we have to remind ourselves if there's a lot of thunder and lightning, that's probably not the best place to be. So it's hard to get my family to adhere to that, but we try. Also, April is the month of open burning. The burn permit portal will open on Monday. Read carefully on the fire department webpage about burn permits and how to get them. If you want to apply for a residential burn permit, these permits are for residential burning only. They do not apply to commercial businesses. If a commercial business wants to burn, they need to go through air quality and apply for a different type of permit. So on the fire department webpage, under the there's an online portal to apply for a residential burn permit. The permit has to be applied for 24 hours in advance of the day you want to burn. And I encourage everyone to check the weather before applying for a permit, because you can only get one 3-day permit in a burn season. So if you pick, let's just say April 4th, 5th, and 6th, and it rains all 3 of those days, you have to wait till the next burn cycle to get a permit. So choose your days carefully. And we also have, in general news, the Fire Academy has 9 recruits that are going to graduate May the 8th at Memorial Hall at 6 p.m. That is open to the public if you'd like to go see fire department graduation. It's pretty awesome. And it's nice to see our young people coming in and taking over some public safety roles in the city. And then recently we had a citizen recognition at Station 14 at 27th in Georgia for a 13-year-old girl. Her name is Licia Lee. She was at her grandmother's home when unexpectedly during the overnight hours, a fire broke out in the house. Moving swiftly, she woke her grandmother and her little brother, and they all exited the home without injury or harm. And when firefighters arrived on the scene, the fire alarms were screeching and they were able to get the fire out. So we recognize Alicia for her heroic actions in saving the lives of her family members. And that's about it for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. We'll have KCK Police Department.
We just have a couple things for you this morning. First off, I heard some concerns from neighborhood groups about our officers coming out to speak with the neighborhood groups. We are working through some budget cuts. However, I do not anticipate officers going out to the neighborhood groups affecting that. We have a little bit of flexibility with their hours. They should still be able to come out to all your groups and speak with you all and hear your concerns. If you do have issues with officers coming out to your group, please see me afterwards so I can grab your name and information and make sure that we're getting officers out. The only other thing I have is the KCKPD Key Swap. We're about 2 weeks out now. I have some of these flyers up front. It's going to be April 12th. It's gonna be at 5th and Washington again. We should start seeing people show up about 10:30 and then 11 o'clock. We'll start our walk. Free hot dogs, always a good thing. Gaming trailer will be out there. Lots of static displays. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Wyandotte County Sheriff.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So up here, I won't pass them around, but our media specialist, Grace, has been busy putting this together. So this year, we're gonna do our 2 pool events again. One at Parkwood, one out in Bonner. We'll also be at the fair that whole week. And then at Back to School Bash in August. So all of this is on here. You guys want to take one? And then probably the only other thing I really have, I want to recognize one of our employees. So every year, the National Sheriff's Association recognizes professionals across our world, if you will, for different things. And this year, our courthouse security supervisor, Matt Zweifel, is being recognized as the Courthouse Security Professional of the Year, which is really exciting to us. I take some heat over courthouse security from day to day. On how we do it and why it's so strict and why it's so hard to get in. And the reality of it is it's that way to prevent issues in the courthouse. And Matt is instrumental in that. And so I know the UG is going to put some stuff out. We're going to put some stuff out. He'll be recognized in Fort Lauderdale, April and May.
At the end of June.
In June, at their conference. And so that's super exciting for us. That's really all I have. I'll take any questions if there are any. Yes, ma'am.
Is it really necessary for citizens, senior citizens to take off belts and shoes and things?
So unfortunately, the age of somebody coming in and causing harm doesn't stop just because you're a senior citizen. And so what I can tell you about that is actually back when Sheriff Ash was still the sheriff, I was in charge of creating that program. And we modeled it after the airport style security for a reason. Not to say a bad thing still couldn't happen, but in that time, we have alleviated any bad things happening. And so in order to keep that across the board, unfortunately, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, even. But the process is the process. And I'll end with this. I still am willing to come to any group, anytime, anywhere, and talk about anything. If you got any questions of me or concerns or complaints, I'll take it all. I come to your group and I tell people you may not like the answer, but you will definitely get an answer. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Nick Moreno. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so you'll have to bear with my voice today. This coming up in early May is Drinking Water Week from the American Water Works Association. And as part of that, we want to open up a tour to this group. We'll have limited sign up. We haven't quite nailed down the date. But I'll send that through Amanda to kind of have a sign up. We're going to have a tour of our water treatment plant. It's a really cool state-of-the-art facility that we don't really do too much tours, and we want to change that in. It's really awesome to see all the work and what goes into making our water here clean in Wyandotte County. So I'll be sending that out. And also we want to set up more tours. So if you have a group that we can set up a tour with, reach out to me and we can do that. We are going to be presenting at Civic Connect and our new I just combined some words. Our new general manager, Jeremy Ash, is going to be here to talk about what we have going on in 2025 and beyond for BPU. And we're also going to bring out our new Chief Administrative Officer, Abby Fry, as well, to talk about all the changes that we're going through in customer service and all of her departments also. So I'll just end kind of echoing the sheriff here as we want to come out to the community. We want to get to your groups. We just went over to Wellborn groups and we thought we had a good talk with you all. We wanted to be both ways, reciprocal, talking to you and listening. So thank you.
Thanks, Nick. We'll have the mayor's office.
Good morning. Mayor's office, I'm Steve Williams, from the Community Engagement Advisor for the mayor. And he just wanted to update you that we will be celebrating the 7 Days of Kindness at the end of this month, which will be the 31st of March to the 4th, and also the 5th, and also the 7th and the 8th are the days. And also he will have the open community comments starting the first meeting in April as well. He'll start that back, and that's all I have.
Next, we'll have the DA's office.
Good morning, everyone. It is always a pleasure to see you. I just have a couple of things. One, there is a summary of what I'm about to say directly below the television. Feel free to come and get that little slip of paper to give you that information. Two, on that, you're going to find where some of the places that I've gone to over the last month since we last saw each other, as well as a snapshot of the cases that we filed. I want to talk about just for a few seconds of this time is the highest number of cases that we have, and this is seen across the country, and that is our drug-related cases. In this last month, we've had about 57 drug-related cases that we've had to file. When we go out to the school, and you'll see on the little snapshot, I've gone out to multiple schools since last month and talked to the kiddos. The high schoolers, and unfortunately some of the middle schoolers, are the ones that we're dealing and seeing most of these drug situations coming out of. And so I want to make sure that the community is aware that we need to continue to educate our kiddos, continue to educate our families about, when I was growing up, it was just say no. But whatever it is nowadays, don't assume that your kid knows not to do drugs, because it comes in all shapes and forms now, and vaping and putting all kinds of drugs in these vapes are prevalent in our schools. And so please educate them. And we are still having deaths, very little now, but we're still having deaths because of fentanyl. And one pill, in fact, a half a pill can kill. And so if you take nothing away from this spiel today, is remind your kids, your grandkids, and anyone you come in contact with that all drugs are bad, especially because now you don't know what drugs are laced with deadly fentanyl. The last thing that I will touch on, and I don't know, Sheriff, if you might want to record this. I don't know if I'll ever say it again, but I want to give kudos to Sheriff Soptic and to the Sheriff's Department. We concluded a nearly 7-year-long capital murder case that took the life of 2 amazing deputies, Deputy Rohr and Deputy King. And the Sheriff's Department worked tirelessly for those 7 years with the District Attorney's Office as we concluded that case, and throughout those 7 years, in making sure that we were able to get through that process so that the family, our community, and the Sheriff's Department can begin healing. And so I want to publicly state that the Sheriff's Department has done an amazing job in doing their part with protecting us there at the courthouse, and doing what's necessary. So you can stop the recording. I'll probably never say that much again positive about him, but I did have one of the folks at the Masonic Hall ask me, Dupree, with all of the violence and all of the things that's happening, yes, our violent crime is down, and it's still down. Kudos to KCKPD with that. But what can we do? And how can we make sure that our voices are heard? I think it's important. My answer to them is the same that I would give to you all. Who you put in office matters. Voting matters. And I know that we're on a year of elections, and I'm not endorsing anyone. Don't get confused here. What I am saying is voting is important, and the people that are in positions of authority need to make sure that they have your best interest in mind and mine and my children's safety as well as yours. And so as you educate the folks that are in your circle, make sure that you tell them to vote and educate themselves in concern of who will continue to protect and make sure that our community is as safe as possible. And no, I'm not running for office this year. I'm good for 4 more years. So bless you guys. If you have any questions, come talk to me. And yes, as always, you can come have a good government cup of coffee. Be blessed.
Thank you, Dupree. Next up, communications.
Good morning, everyone. I will go quick because I know we have some more updates. I'm Crystal McFetters in Strategic Communications, and we have sitting on the floor, Don Hampton, our Digital Content Coordinator with the UG. I have a couple updates. So Ashley Hand, as you all know, a few weeks ago transitioned to another role over at Mid-America Regional Council. And so in her interim, I am the director as well as serving as public information officer. So I need prayers. We are a small team of 3, but we have some great talent on our team. So we ask that if you do have events and things that we can need to spotlight in the community, we definitely want to be there, but to our capacity that we have. But any information ahead of time, please let us know. Please work with Mina. We definitely are supporting Mina in any communication efforts as well. Couple quick updates. Be on the lookout for some community cleanups that we will be hosting as the UG. First one we're going to kick off. It's going to be 4 throughout the year. That's just like a small effort, but we know that we're going to do more things. But on Earth Day, April 22nd, we're going to start off in the downtown corridor. So we're going to have departments of UG. You will see us flooding the community, cleaning up. We want to see if any organizations want to join us. We'll have more information very soon. And our plan is to go to different areas for each one of these cleanups in droves from our departments. Also tomorrow, there's the 8th District Senior and Disabilities Resource Fair at Victory Hills Baptist Church. And that's going to take place from 9 to 11. There'll be breakfast, a lot of different resources, UG resources, community resources, as well as our clerk's office will be processing any of those tax rebate programs that are available, as long as you bring your documentation. And that information is on our website. On April 12th, same day as the Peace Walk, so there'll be some juggling if you want to make 2 of these. There's the Sound the Alarm. We're looking for volunteers for the fire department. And they're going to focus on the Turtle Hill and Strawberry Hill area, making sure we install smoke detectors in homes. So the chief's goal is 400 homes, 400 smoke detectors to be installed. So we can really cut down on any deaths and any injury that we have due to fires. And that information is signed up for volunteers. They're looking for people to train to also help in that process. And their plan is to go to different neighborhoods and try to cover the entire city throughout the year. Also, there's a blood drive May 2nd through the fire department that will be held at Health Headquarters right off of 6th Street. And that's in partnership with the American Red Cross. So if y'all know someone that has needed blood at any time, if you're able to, or if you just want to go and volunteer, information will be on our website about that. Moving quick, I'm talking fast, so I apologize. Also, last thing, there is currently our election office has launched a sticker competition. So we need any artists that you know of that are middle school and high school for the new I voted or future voter stickers. And so all information has been posted out on social, on our website, but we also want to make sure if you have a student, grandchild, any schools, I'm going to do another push to the schools because we want to make sure our students are like sheriff and like DA know the importance of voting, but also get them involved in the process. So that's all the information I have. Please, and Dom's on the floor, but he's doing a great job with our social media. Please follow us, like some of our, please comment and connect with us on social media. For one, it helps our algorithm, but for 2, the more people you know, it helps us to get the information out to them as well. So social media with Facebook, Instagram, we do as much on LinkedIn as possible, but please subscribe to our news that comes out every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So that's all I have.
Thank you guys so much. Next we have the NRC. I just wanted to reiterate that the NRC lobby here at 4953 State Ave will be closed on April 27th, starting at 11:30 for a software update. And after NRC, we have planning and urban design. I don't think I saw anybody. Okay. After planning and urban design, we have Wyandotte County Health Department.
Hey, y'all, I know Shelby's, oh, sorry. Oh, Wes,
No,
are you
please.
on?
No, yeah, I am. Please though, go ahead.
Hi, y'all. My name is Hannah Lang. I'm the Fetal Infant Mortality and Community Action Team Coordinator. I know Shelby, our Violence Prevention Coordinator, is normally here. She couldn't make it today, so I'm standing in, but I'm sometimes in these meetings, sometimes not, depending upon how much I've got.
But some updates from the health department. We did want to remind everyone about our Be Wise Monday program. First Monday of every month, the vaccine administration is waived for children ages 2 and younger that qualify for our Vaccines for Children program. So we just want to remind everyone, normally the vaccines are free, but there's a $20 administration fee the first Monday of every month. That administration fee is waived, so they're completely free for those children who do qualify. If you want to figure out if your children qualify, please call the health department. We can walk you through those steps. If you are interested in becoming a childcare provider, there is an orientation on the second Tuesday of each month. The next one coming up will be April 8th from 9:30 to 12. There's no event in May. To register, to call our childcare licensing program. That number is 913-573-6702. There is a $10 registration fee, and that orientation will be held at the health department. Starting this upcoming Wednesday, April 2nd, the health department will also start having walk-in hours on Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 3:30. That's when we'll take the last appointment at 3:30. So you probably will still be there for your appointment, but we'll take the last one at 3:30. This is in addition to our Friday walk-in hours. So we're trying to get more availability out there. The other update we wanted to give is that all we see in the news right now is measles cases. Those are occurring on the west side of Kansas. The cases are going up. We have none in Wyandotte County right now, but we did want to let people know the health department is preparing for just in case something were to happen. So we are aware we're all preparing all that other fun stuff. We do have a flyer. I was unable to print it, unfortunately, today, but if anybody wants that information, feel free to reach out to me. My email is hmlang@wycokck.org or reach out to the health department. If you had measles at one point in your life, but never got the vaccine, want to know whether you have immunity or not, we do have measles, mumps, and rubella immunity profile at the health department. That is a $75 fee, but you can check and just make sure to see if you are immune or not. I think that's all the updates I have, but if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Hannah, is the updated flyer you're talking about for the walk-in hours?
I've got one for the walk-in hours. I wasn't able to print that, and I've got one for the measles, just how it spreads, what's it look like, all that other fun stuff. Okay.
So if you had a measles vaccine eons ago, and you had measles, are you still protected?
I think from what I understand, again, I'm not a measles expert. From what I understand, if there were some vaccine profiles that did not necessarily have full immunity. Again, it was a very short duration, but if you also had measles at one point, again, you may not have full immunity, you may do. So you can check and make sure your profiles are complete, whether how much immunity you have with those profile tests. So it just depending on
that with some kind of blood test.
For my understanding, yes. Thanks, Anna. Wes, if you have anything, feel free to add.
Yeah, so Wesley McCain from the Public Health Department also. You are likely safe if you had the measles vaccine in the past. I just wanted to double down on what Hannah said. Just it's been a long time since anybody's really had measles in the country. It's not like the flu. I mean, 1 in 20 unvaccinated people who get measles, mostly kids, will get pneumonia. 1 in 5 will end up in the hospital. So it's a, it's I think data says 1 to 2 out of 1,000 will die. Which that might not sound like a lot, but we're talking about 3, 4, 5-year-olds. So, we are, like Hannah said, we are taking precautions. We have a group that's meeting. There's a clinical town hall that we're doing for our healthcare providers tomorrow. I think there's a community one. I don't know if we have a date for that yet, but there's one that we will invite others to as well. And just to reinforce, despite anything you're hearing on the national news or from anybody else, the vaccine is very effective. It's very safe, and it is the best way to keep yourself safe and everybody else safe from the measles. So, and then just the other thing I wanted to say was, we got some, good news. The CDC released a report a couple days ago that overdose deaths in the country for the period ending October 2024 are down 24%. Which is really, really good news. And I wish I had the data for Wyandotte County here with me. I could get that and send it to Mina. But, I just want to give a shout out again. The district attorney mentioned the work they've been doing on drug charges. I know PD has been doing a lot of work. We've been doing a lot of work as well. And there's been a lot of work that's been happening across the country. Still very high compared. The overdose rates are the lowest now that they've been since 2020, but 2020 was also a pretty high year. So it's still an important issue that we're working on, but it's just whenever we get good news like that, it's good to talk about it because those years, 2021, 2022, 2023, were the highest overdose deaths that we've ever seen in the US and in the county. So just wanted to give a shout out to their work and the work of the hardworking people at the public health department also. So thanks.
Thanks, Wes. We have KCK Environmental Services next.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Miles. I'm the Director of Environmental Services. A couple topics for you. We're coming right to the end of our 4-month water average with our partners over at BPU. Take a look at your bill. If something doesn't look right on your wastewater side of things, feel free to call and the team member will walk you right through it and see if you had a water leak in between there, anything that could affect your wastewater bill throughout the year. I also represent Public Works. We are a division of Public Works as well. And as some of the colleagues said today, we love coming out to the public and talking to the public, answering questions. So please keep that in mind. We just did one, I think last Monday in Strawberry Hill Neighborhood Association, and we answered questions about potholes, trash improvements going forward, as well as going backwards, wastewater, stormwater, any of your type of questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We'd love to come out to spend some time with your group. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. And then last and not least for department updates, we have Parks and Rec.
No, we don't. And that is all the department updates. So we're gonna dive right into community announcements. I did want to say, I know it's an election year, and though it might be tempting, this is a public forum, so we cannot advertise or endorse any aspiring political elected officials. Yes, just want to put that disclaimer out there. If you have an announcement, please come up, say your name, introduce yourself, keep it to under a minute. And if you're online and you have a community announcement, if you would just drop it in the chat and we will read it after everybody in person comes on.
I am Pam Blood. I'm with Shepherd Center and I'm wanting to advertise the books and bric-a-brac sale. There were flyers up here for you to pick up and Angela's going to do spell and okay that.
Fantastic.
And so please come out and join us. It's going to be at Grace Lutheran Church, 3333 Wood, and May 2nd and 3rd. And if you can come on the 1st and help us unpack and do whatever, well, we'd be delighted to have you both to work and to buy.
Connie Brown Collins, the Voter Rights Network of Wyandotte County. We are having an encore backpack full of cash voucher education event this Saturday at the West Wyandotte Branch Library. Starts at 12 noon. We have a screening of the film documentary Backpack Full of Cash, followed by a PowerPoint presentation, followed by a panel discussion. We'd love to see you, love to have you there. Please pick up a flyer. I'll put them up here on the table. So.
You can just dump it over my livable neighborhood.
See your stuff.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Morning, everyone. Joanne Woody with the American Red Cross, and I've got Hector Rodriguez and Paul Marks with me back there in the back. And immediately following this, or as soon as everyone's done with their networking and catching up time, Red Cross is going to be providing hands-only CPR training to anyone who wants to hang around for a little bit, spend a little bit of time with Hector and Paul and myself. It's only 30 minutes. It does not hold a certification. So this will not certify you for CPR. However, this will provide you with a little bit of the base knowledge so that you can be prepared to act if you come across someone or with someone who has a cardiac emergency. And by the way, did I mention it's free? It is free. And please also make sure you grab some snacks and things. Those will be out during our session as well. We'll bring in some cute little ambulance looking toys, you know, and you'll do your compressions on that. So again, very simple. Anybody can do it. You're not going to have to get down on the floor and crawl around. I promise you, we're going to do it on the tables, make it as comfortable as possible. We can get to listen to a little bit of music, maybe, or maybe it's just the TikTok. Also, since we've been talking about severe weather, please download the free, I love that word when it comes to anything we have, free Red Cross Emergency app. You can actually monitor multiple locations. You can see on mine, I've got several places I monitor because, you know, I'm a worrywart, I'm a mom, and I'm a grandma. So I like to monitor the weather for a lot of different folks. You can go to your Apple or your Android, your Google Play Store and download it to search for Red Cross Emergency, and it will come up. A lot of other apps too. And free A1C testing for any successful blood donations between now and the end of March. So for just a few more days, if you donate blood, your donation will be tested for A1C. And then in about 2 weeks or so, you will receive a confidential report on what the results of that testing were. I would have no way of looking at it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know because I don't want to know mine. So toss that out.
Can I jump in behind Joanne? I'm Matt May. I'm with the Emergency Management Office. I actually showed up. I have not been able to get here very often, but I do want to say in particular about the Red Cross app. I have tested that against many, many other apps. I will tell you, my experience, it's been the most accurate and the fastest, and times everything when you're trying to get a tornado warning in your name. So please do take advantage of it. And you're what? You are. He stopped sending me those letters. Joey and I had this thing about get the letters constantly with her signature on them, raising money. But the other thing I would add real quick while I have it, I don't think Kelly talked about it, but if you do get a burn permit, please pay attention to high wind events.
Yeah.
So they're going to be called red flag days, or, you know, everybody calls them something a little different. And I'm not sure how the fire department notifies the permit holders. They may or may not, but you certainly can have it pulled. The Chief Droppelman will say, hey, it's just going to be too windy and you're not going to be able to do it. And that's challenging because you only get that small opportunity. So just pay attention to those. That's important stuff.
I'm Angela Turner. Now I'm representing the Shepherd Center of Kansas City, Kansas. So like Pam said, they're getting ready for their Brick and Brack sale. For those of you that don't know, the Shepherd Center supports and celebrates successful aging, focusing on health, enrichment, education, and home repairs. And they are celebrating 39 years here in KCK. And I know being on the board, there are probably thousands of hours of volunteer work that they have done to support aging in home with the home repairs, as well as many other opportunities. So on Saturday, April 26th, from 7 p.m. at the KCK Tech Center is the celebration of 39 years called the Pearls of Wisdom. There's a flyer up here where you can scan the QR code, you can purchase tickets, you can be a sponsor. It's going to be a wonderful event, and the really amazing thing for those of us in that age group, I love it. We're going to be done by 7 p.m. So we'll be home. Grab a flyer, purchase a ticket if you're interested in sponsorship. I will also take money for that. And we need to start a new nonprofit Volunteers Anonymous. You can get with me or you can get with Pam if you have questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy McNeely and I'm with Workforce Partnership. How many have heard of Workforce Partnership? Okay, good. So I just want you to know we're still there and we need you. We know that a lot of people have been laid off, dislocated, lost jobs. You may know one, it may be you, what have you. We want you to know that the Workforce Center is there for you. We have got a grant for dislocated worker funds so we can help folks that have been dislocated, that have been laid off and what have you. We're doing tons of events. If you have an event where you know that people are going to be at that have been dislocated, or if you know some folks that maybe have been dislocated, they shut down their companies or what have you, and they haven't been contacted by the Workforce Center, please let me know. I'm the Workforce Services Supervisor, and what we want to do is try to set some events, be a part of events to let people know what we have to help them with resumes. Because if you've been on a job for a long time, when it comes time to interviewing for a new job, that's tough because you're pretty set at what you've been doing. So we want to help you with your resumes. We want to help you with interview workshops, different things to help you. We have a thing called Big Interview, which helps you with everything. You can actually visually look at yourself, and I did it myself, and I was like, man, I make those faces when I talk. It grades you on how you talk, how many ums you use, what you do with your hands. And so it helps you with the whole part. You hear me? It helps with the whole process. And so it's a really good thing. If any of you have any questions about it, please feel free to call me. You can contact me at 913-279-2611. I'm at the Workforce Partnership. Again, I'm Workforce Services for Wyandotte, Johnson, and Leavenworth County. So it doesn't matter what county the person is closest to. And if they're dislocated and they're in Missouri and they want to come over and get some of those services, we'll be happy to help them with that as well. So we can let them know how we can help them. Again, my number is 913-279-2611. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darren Faulkner, and I'm a life transformation coach for an organization called Connections to Success. Anybody heard of that?
Yeah.
Few people. Herein lies the problem. Connections to Success is a workforce development organization. We help individuals, particularly those that are sometimes labeled as hard to hire, get into employment. We have a Pathways to Success program that has a specialized program called the Personal and Professional Development Training. It's totally free, 2 weeks. When they come out of that, they know a little bit more about who they are. They know more about what their job sort of goals are. And then they're assigned a life coach, a job development specialist, and so forth. We are in a situation right now where we have money, we just don't have people. Generally, it's the other way around. But we have money to provide this training for free. We just don't have the people. So that's my spiel to you all this morning. If you know anyone in Wyandotte County, Johnson County, or Leavenworth County that meets these 3 criteria, just only these 3 criteria. 1, they have to be a resident of one of those 3 counties. 2, have school-age children, or they themselves be 24 years of age or younger. And 3, have a desire to work. Those are the only criteria. And if they meet those 3 criteria, they go through this 2-week training, and then we work diligently, not just to get them a job, but a career. Not a minimum wage job, but a livable wage job. And so we're just looking for people. If you know people that meet those 3 criteria, please send them our way. I just got the cell phone, so I don't know my cell phone number yet. So I have a cheat sheet here. If you'd like to contact me, again, my name is Darren Faulkner. My telephone number is 816-462-7813. And families can just contact me directly, or if you want to refer someone, you can contact me directly, and we'll figure it out and make it happen.
Phone number again.
816-462-7813. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Perez, I'm Program Manager for Ad Hoc Group Against Crime. Purposely came on last so I can keep myself short, but I will stay afterward in case anybody has any questions. And feel free to grade me. Well, but I'm actually here to talk about a program called Let's Wrap, which is lessening the effects of trauma, strengthening resource assistance and partnership and prevention from the PA's office. So right now they have a grant through SKIP, which is a federally funded grant to help people who have been victims of gun violence connect with different services. So if they had their house shot up, if they had their car windows shot up, they can reach out to us, and I'll leave these here for you as well. A couple brochures. All they need to do is have a police report with KPD, and we would go out and do an assessment in partnership with some victim advocates from the DA's office. And we can see about getting them set up with contractors, get their homes fixed, repaired, cars repaired to an extent. And it's all for free. So if you have any questions, reach out. My number is 913-219-2584. And then all the information is on here as well, the DA's website and Ad Hoc KC's website.
Good morning. My name is Don Ash. I'm here representing Kansas City, Kansas Community College this morning. Just want to report to you that the downtown campus work is well underway. I think I told you last month or the month before that all of the abatement and grading was completed. And if you've been by there lately, we have steel now that's going vertical. So we're well on the way. Hoping for the construction part to be completed by May or June of next year in 2026, and classes to begin by August, by the fall semester of 2026. So that's going really well. I want to address a rumor, if you will, regarding the Willa Gill Center. The college is not closing the Willa Gill Center. Full disclosure, the college owns the building. We have a long-term lease with the unified government for $1 a year to keep it functioning, to keep it open until such time as an acceptable site is located and developed to open a new and hopefully improved center for the folks that receive services there. So we're not closing the Willa Gill Center. Nobody's going to have to do without anything till they have somewhere else, to go. And then hopefully with some improved services there. And the last thing I'll say is some of you may know, many of you probably don't know, that our gym floor at the main campus has been under repair for the better part of 2 years. The middle of the floor was sinking. And so we had to cease all activity in there, tear the floor up, assess that issue or problem, and we're in the process now of putting it all back together. I believe it's scheduled to be open and available next month, finally. But we have 2 classes that have come through there. We have women's basketball and volleyball teams and men's basketball that never played a game on their home court. And they're going to graduate, this spring, and they're going to move on to wherever they're going to go from there. And that's really kind of a very unusual and unique situation. So, but we're going to get it resolved. We're going to get it back opened up, and we're going to be good to go. So we are on the final sprint toward graduation, obviously. And again, this year, graduation will be at Children's Mercy Park. At KC Sporting. And if you've not been to a graduation there, it's really something special. So a lot of more places are starting to have their graduations there. We did ours there last year. The old house wasn't available. And so we just entered into a little agreement with them for multi-years. So, I'll be around, and Linda Hoskins Sutton is also a colleague. She's a trustee. She's in the back room. If you have any questions or comments about the college, you can speak to either one of us. Thank you.
Hello, all. My name is Tamara Bourne. Some of you know me here. Well, my team and I, we are creating a job fair event. So Darren and Nancy, I will be contacting you to bring you all in on that as well. If you know anyone that is looking for some employment for their business or anything of that nature, please have them give me a call at 913-413-2461 so we can get this organized. It will be April 5th. There is a flyer up here for you to grab that as well. So I'll keep this brief. And again, my number is 913-413-2461 if you have anyone that is looking for employment for their business or if they want to come out and look for a job. All right, thank you.
And we do have a couple of announcements in the chat. The first is Grandparents for Gun Safety meets on the fourth Monday of each month at 4 p.m. at Colonial Church, 7039 Mission Prairie Village. Also, they are having a trivia night on June 1st. You can sign up and bring a team of people, and we'd love to see Wyandotte County win. Wyandotte County team win. The 8th District Senior Resource Fair, information on the calendar of events on the UT website. Dumpster Days is coming up. I believe that's April 3rd and 4th. Also information on the UT calendar of events.
Fourth
and then
and fifth.
Fourth,
It's April 4th and 5th.
Thanks, Sharon. And then Community Emergency Response Team Training, information on the calendar events. The Wyandotte County Violence Prevention Coalition, formerly known as YCOSAP, excuse me, will be meeting on Thursday, April 10th for their quarterly meeting at the Community Health Council from 9 a.m. to 10:30. Come out, breakfast will be provided, and we'd love to have as many community members join as possible. The fire department said check local weather and fire department websites for burning bans due to wind, and they'll be updated daily. Eric Murray says, thanks to all, any questions or comments or any desire for us to present to your organization or community group about the Indian Springs redevelopment into the Midtown Station, you can contact him. Don't be hesitant. We've been hard at work hosting community sessions, meeting with unified government, state, BPU, KCATA, and other officials, and are closely monitoring and advocating for policy initiatives and that are pending at the state and federal level that would positively benefit our community and help power this project. While we recognize the hardship and turbulence being experienced in all of the community and governments who continue to make progress, they remain optimistic and laser focused on delivering new housing, retail, restaurants, communities for the DOT community for this transformational project. You can contact Eric Murray at 913-827-8960, or you can email him at Eric, ERIK @eastsideinnovation.com. And that is our last community update in the chat. I wanted to thank you all for coming to visit me in March. I hope to see you next month in April. I forgot to write down April's date, but it's the 4th Thursday in the morning, 9 a.m. And then I just want to remind you all that if you didn't sign in on your way in, sign in on your way out. And we hope to see you for hands-on training. Speaker training. See ya.